What's up everyone, and thank you for stopping by the channel. Today's project is this Poland Pro chainsaw, and the problem is that it works, but it keeps throwing its chain off the bar. Let's see if we can find out what's wrong with it, and hopefully we can fix it. In this video, we repair this chainsaw. However, it may not be the exact repair you need to make to yours. We'll explore other situations later in the video. Now, the problem started after this chainsaw came back from having its chain sharpened. It was cutting very well right up until the chain came off the bar. It was reinstalled, but after a few minutes of use, yet again it came off. They took the clutch cover and the chain off, but they decided to throw everything back together and hand it to us instead. After a closer inspection, it shows that it was very hastily put back together out of frustration. The chain is even on backwards, but we were reassured that it was put on the right way when it was being used. Now, if you look near the clutch cover, you can see that the chain tensioning screw is all the way out, which is really odd. I can't wait to get the clutch cover off to see what's going on underneath there. I'm sure some of you already have an idea, but I'm going to let you know there's more going on than just that. Here's a closer shot of the backwards chain, and I can confirm that it's pretty sharp, so they did do their job, but that's not going to help if it can't stay on the bar. Let's start by removing the bar nuts and remove the clutch cover itself. I don't think we have to worry about the chain tensioner screw, as it seems to not be doing anything at the moment. Okay, so here's our first problem. This part of the tensioner assembly is pointed in the wrong direction. It's pointing down towards the table when it should be pointing towards the bar. Let's remove the screw and the nut part and put it back together the way it's supposed to be. Now, I can't be sure if this is our only problem, but we've got to start somewhere. Unfortunately, I'm not sure which way the nut goes, so I'm going to try one way, and if it's wrong, I'll just switch it around later on. Now, I know the chain is still on backwards, but I want to check to see how much bar adjustment we have with this particular chain. This is when we see a huge problem. If we pull the bar to tension the chain, we can see that there isn't any room left for the bar to move, and yet we still have quite a bit of slack in the chain. And that's why the chain keeps coming off the bar while being used. Now, if I had to guess, I think the person who sharpened the chain instead swapped the original chain with another one that was already sharpened. But this is only a guess, and I was told the chainsaw never had this problem before. Now, I do have an old, dull chain that should fit this bar that I want to test out. And what I want to see is that when we swap the chains, is that there's still room for adjustment, unlike the last chain. Now, another reason why your chain might be coming off the bar is a worn-out drive sprocket. If this is the case, try replacing it, and if it still does it, try replacing the bar, as they can wear out as well. Now, depending on your chainsaw's value, it may not be worth replacing all these parts. Once the chain has been put on, let's pull on the bar and check to see how much room is left for adjustment. And as you can see, there's still room on either side of the studs, so we still have plenty of room to get the correct tension on the chain. The swapped chain was definitely our main problem. The next step is to replace the clutch cover and figure out which way to install that nut on the tensioner assembly. And unfortunately, it turns out the part of the nut that engages the bar is supposed to be near the studs and not away from it. So I'll simply remove the nut and put it back on the right way. Now, the screw is long enough that I probably should have used a power drill to make this faster. I'm only going to use the special spark plug bar nut tool, and it's definitely not built for speed. Replacing the cover can be tricky, as you have to make sure that the part of the tensioner nut that engages the bar lines up properly. If you don't line it up, you could damage the nut or possibly the clutch cover. Turn the tension adjuster so there's just enough slack at the bottom of the bar. If you're still unsure, check online resources to help figure out how much slack your saw needs. Once the correct tension is set, then tighten the bar nuts. Now remember, I told you earlier that this chain is really worn out. We're going to move to part of the property that has some limbs down from a storm a few months ago, and we're going to try out the saw there and see if the chain comes off of it. Now, for you watching who do this for a living, this is going to be hard to watch as I struggle to cut a few small limbs. Now remember, I did say this chain was dull, but it did pass the test. I didn't lose any tension, and the chain didn't come off the bar. Now I'm not going to blame the person for swapping out the wrong size chain, but it's definitely something we all need to look out for. So my question to you is, have you ever had a chain problem that caused you to buy a brand new chainsaw? Chain issues can basically make your chainsaw so frustrating to use that you'd rather not deal with them at all. Now I know what I would do, but I'm more interested in your answer. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate your time. Please feel free to ask any questions, and I hope to see you in my next video.